On the show today, we're talking NCAA hoops, and we give you a glimpse at Liberty basketball's new home.
Plus, the story of a former Liberty football player turned soldier and the inner battle he fights every day. It's all ahead on this edition of Game On.
Welcome in. It's that time again. Time for your weekly dose of Game On. We appreciate you stopping by. As always, he's Rhett McGibbon. I'm Matt Warner.
Yeah, we have a lot of great stuff on the show today, including a powerful story about a former Liberty football player and one of our nation's finest now. But first, we begin with some hoops.
Yeah, let's do it. You know, Liberty basketball, women's basketball that is, earned its 17th NCAA tournament bid in a 22-year span. The result? A trip to Knoxville, Tennessee to face one of the most storied programs in the game. Liberty facing the Lady Vols of Tennessee and also facing some long odds. Tennessee entered play 56-0 in NCAA tournament games on their home floor. Liberty, though, did not appear intimidated early. Layla Sellers knocking it down. That bucket gave the Flames a 7-6 lead late in the first quarter. Sellers finished with 13. LU would continue to hang around in the first half. Ola Makarai keeping it at a 2-point game late in the second with 2 of her 13, and Liberty would trail by just 8 at the break. But the third quarter, that's when the Lady Flames would begin to come undone a bit. Tennessee exploded for 38 points, the most ever surrendered in any quarter by Liberty. The Lady Vols used their pressure to force 21 turnovers as they pull away for the 100-60 victory, thus ending the Lady Flames season in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Our Rhett McGibbon was there and brings us the reaction.
1998 was the last year that the Lady Vols and Liberty Flames met in the NCAA tournament. That year's Flames team, very similar to today's. Young, talented, and on the verge of doing something special. Coach Green spoke of his team's promise.
There's a lot of promise with this group. You know, they're not happy with the outcome. You know, unfortunately, everybody goes out a loser except for a national champion. And, you know, I say go out a loser, go out learning. But we're a team that has really come along in the last second half and learned and become very competitive. It's just unfortunate we didn't stay competitive in this game for the entire game.
It's definitely something that we have to learn from and learn from our mistakes. And I'm proud of the girls and the way they fought today. It definitely gives us, I think, an edge now knowing what we're preparing for, what we're working for, honestly, is to beat these teams. And so it's exciting, honestly, because I think we can take all the mistakes and what we didn't come together as a team and work on that and fix it for next season.
I think first half and second half, we're two different teams. So looking back, it will still sting because, you know, we're sore losers. If you're not a competitor, you don't like to lose. But I think we'll learn from it and just be ready to come back here hopefully next year and look for another shot.
Coach Green stating throughout the year that this is a young Liberty team. However, he believes his group gained valuable experience today in one of the more storied buildings in all the NCAA.
This is a good opportunity to see all the mental things that we have to invest in, not only executing your plays, but this was all new. Only for one girl, and that was Shayna Vega. This was all new, and I was really pleased. We started the first quarter a little shaky, but then really closed out pretty good, and then into the second quarter did pretty well and started getting into sort of the groove from a defensive perspective. So that's exciting that we can handle this. It's just that can we maintain it?
I think the more teams we play that are really good and at that high level, I think that makes us mature even more. Just like when we played Michigan, we matured. When we played Duke, we matured. And I feel like those games helped us for this game, and this game will help us for next year.
It's been a close-knit group that's grown closer, and it's very good. Since there's like 11 players in the freshman and sophomore class, that they start gelling together and having success, and you know that excites the coaching staff and everyone. That got a lot of work. If we continue to work on it, we'll continue to improve.
And while this tough loss may bring an end to the season, it is just the beginning to what looks to be a solid foundation to the future of the Lady Flames. From Knoxville, Tennessee, I'm Rhett McGibbon for Game On.
Solid reporting there, Rhett. Looking good. Like the sweater. Nice touch. Listen, exciting times for Liberty. You lose, that's always disappointing. But I like the attitude this team has in the loss. It's not hanging your head, but oh, now we see the bar,
Right.
now we see how much better we have to get. And for a young player, a lot of times it's important to kind of see where you need to improve and how you can improve moving forward.
And jumping on that train, being around the room after the loss, you can tell the girls encouraged. You know, sometimes you can come out of a game like this where you get smoked in the second half and you're down and out, but no, all smiles, know the work that has to be done, and I think this is the group that can do it.
A lot of wins still in the future for that group.
Most definitely. While basketball season has ended for the Lady Flames, the work has just begun for head coach Carey Green. Recruiting, planning, the grunt work begins now, which can make it hard for any coach to see his family, let alone extended family. Anytime an opportunity arises to see loved ones for Coach Green, he cherishes it. For head coach Carey Green, playing in the NCAA tournament is a part of basketball he will never take for granted, especially when it is held in his home state of Tennessee. This day stands apart though for a different reason. Yes, he is coaching in the Final 64, but his family is present today, supporting him at basketball's biggest stage.
It's always wonderful to have a family with you. And 83-year-old mom, I lost my dad about 4 years ago, and having brothers here.
Family support, it's always been a big thing for him. I've always followed him around like a little puppy. I like being the little brother, and he used to complain about that because he has told my mother many times, I've got this shadow that keeps following me, and I wish he would quit. So,
you know, you want to enjoy life and life experiences and relationships together, and this was a good opportunity to see them.
And while having family attend is special, nothing quite compares to grandchildren, even more so when visits are tough to fit in during the rigors of the season.
Are you excited to see your granddad today, Coach?
Yes, I am.
What is the best thing you think about coming to basketball games?
I'm watching Liberty play.
Wow, oh yeah,
He loves getting videos of these kids, and they love doing basketball moves for him and stuff, saying, send this to Pat Ball, he's got to see this. So it's really nice to be back here in his backyard playing, and it's close to where we live now, which is only about 3 hours away, so I can bring his two little grand boys up here to see him, and boy, they've been excited all week to see him.
There's a twinkle in my eye to have your grandchildren around is always special, and I got a text from Evie, who is our only princess. We got 4 boys and one little princess girl, and she's saying, go Papa. And well, it wasn't quite that Papa, it was more Papu, like that. But to have 2 grandsons here, Connor and Bryson, is great. And you know, they were wearing the Liberty Go Flames and just pumped up. And you know, my name has changed. It's from Coach Papa now, so it's sort of crazy, but it's enjoyable. And have my son here and his wife and his family is a big. I know it's for me as well as my wife. It's exciting to share and love on them while they're here, and that keeps things in perspective too. You know, we all want to win, but we all enjoy family.
Love seeing that side of Coach Green. Well, listen, it's been, what, a month or 2 since we brought you any Liberty Athletics facility news, and we think that's far too long. So here you go, the school announcing this past weekend a new home for a trio of teams. Liberty will begin construction this fall on a new 4,000-seat arena that will be home to the men's and women's basketball teams, as well as volleyball. The building will have about 4,500 fewer seats than the Vine Center, where the teams currently play. And with the smaller seating capacity, Liberty AD Ian McCaw says he believes it will provide an intimate environment and a tremendous home court advantage. We caught up with Flames basketball coach Richie McKay for his thoughts on the new facility.
I just think it's going to be a fabulous home court advantage. I think when a student athlete, a prospective student athlete, comes in and they see our building, just like the rest of this campus, when you go to the library, when you see all that Liberty has to offer, you're stunned by the bricks and the mortar. Well, I think we'll be a part of that wow factor. But again, the people are what make this place, and having a full arena, passionate about supporting our team, I just can't wait.
Well, after an impressive non-conference season, it was time for Liberty softball to begin Big South play. The Lady Flames won the conference regular season title a year ago and appear primed to contend for it again. Dot Richardson's squad hosting Campbell for 3 games. The first contest would not be close. An Autumn Bishop home run and stellar pitching from Julia DiMartino gave Liberty an 8-0 win in 5 innings. Game 2, not as easy. Tied at 3 in the bottom of the 7th. It would be Jacqueline Amader delivering the clutch knock. A walk-off single gave the Lady Flames the 4-3 win and allowed them to go for the sweep on Sunday. Long balls from Taylor and Amader would make sure they closed out the series the right way. Liberty opens Big South play with the sweep. One other interesting note from this series, pitcher Julia DiMartino earned the win in all 3 games and would be named Big South Pitcher of the Week. Dot Richardson tells us she couldn't be happier with her team's mindset in this first conference series of the year.
Well, it's extremely exciting to see that the team just has that mentality of never being satisfied. You know, we've been trying to focus on the little things, hitting plans, good defense, pitchers hitting spots. So there's games within the game, and that's the fun part when you have the talented players that we do have, that they're not just resting on that talent, they're wanting to get better.
Well, the baseball now, the Flames also opening conference play. They were on the road at Gardner-Webb. After splitting the first 2 games, Liberty would jump out to an 11-3 lead in Sunday's contest before holding on for dear life to secure an 11-10 win. Good enough for a series victory over those running Bulldogs. In the 3 games, Trey Todd collected 6 RBIs as well as 4 walks. He continues to lead the country in walks while also ranking 4th in on-base percentage.
Well, the Lady Flames hockey team, ranked #1 in the nation for the majority of the season, headed to Columbus, Ohio in hopes of winning their 2nd national title as a program. Liberty will be taking on Adrian College Bulldogs in this one. They were actually ranked 2nd nationally heading into the tournament. Flames going all nostalgic in this game. Chantal Leshinsky, now Chantal Kerr, who was the goaltender between the pipes for their 2015 national title, decided to come on back to Liberty to take some grad courses and started this game for the Flames. Let's head to the 3rd period. Flames up 1-0. Alex Schmiebert with an absolute snipe, taking it top corner on the goaltender Allison Dungy. This would give Liberty the insurance marker in the late stages. This game, though, not over quite yet. Kaylee Hardy would get things going on the backhand for the Bulldogs. She would make this a 1-goal game with just over 40 seconds remaining, but a standout performance by Chantal Kerr. She would shut the door and propel the Flames to a national championship under first-year women's coach Chris Lowe's.
It's a great feeling. I've been on the other side the last 2 years, and it's been a long journey, and we talked about that before the game, that this 7-month journey with a lot of new faces and new pieces. And, we were all chasing that prize, which is, this championship at the end.
Well, coming up, after playing on the gridiron for Liberty, Brady Hassel served on the battlefield for his country. We bring you the story of his greatest battle.
Then Red serves up a brand new Warm Hot in Fuego. Game on. Coming right back.
We the people. We are innovators, dreamers, leaders. Yeah, we feel pain. We get tired, but it won't stop us. God's call is our pursuit, and we will champion His name.
We've built so many new academic buildings and built a new lawn and torn down all the old temporary buildings that were built in the 70s and early 80s. And when we finished all those new buildings, something seemed to me like it was missing. I felt like there needed to be some focal point, some landmark that everyone thought about when they think of Liberty University's campus. We finally all decided that a tower was the best way to accomplish that goal. And we decided to put the School of Divinity in that tower. So the premier structure on campus, the landmark structure, will also be the home to the School of Divinity that really is sort of the roots of Liberty University. We started mainly as a Bible college, so we're honoring that past, and it's a good way to end it up.
There are students that have been on this campus long enough where they've really never seen that central area without construction, because we've been working on so much stuff right in that middle area. And when we got the School of Music basically done, and science and library, we at least had that square that we could give back to the students and say, look, we're done, this is yours, we're never going back in there. And then we got the residential lawn down by the dorms, we got that done. And then to have the tower completed, now we'll have this beautiful interior core that we can basically let the students and our visitors and our staff enjoy. And we can be working on the outside, but they kind of have this center area that they know that we don't have to go back in and disrupt them anymore. It's been a real big part of the master plan.
Liberty University is deeply grateful to the Rawlings family for this incredible investment. It's, I think, the perfect capstone to everything else we've done.
Judgment Day, it's coming. Judgment Day, it's coming. Judgment Day is coming for you, it's coming for you.
Hey, welcome back to the show. You might have noticed in the game of football there are so many references to war, battling in the trenches, blitzes. People have even described the game as a war on the field. But former Liberty football player Brady Hassel knows the difference between the game and the real battlefield. The only Flames athlete to ever be awarded a Purple Heart, his story is one of a battle that he continues to fight every day.
Let's go, let's go.
I can put them on by myself.
You can do these by yourself?
Yeah.
Nice.
Did Baby Brooks get a muffin yet? Juice box, yogurt, cheese stick.
I think it starts with being honest with them as they grow up, sharing with them the truth about the journey that I've been on. Dear Jesus, thank you for this morning.
Where we are right now is, this was like the hope that I had to hold on to when we were in that moment, you know, three and a half years ago. I couldn't imagine this scenario. I had hope for it, but I couldn't see it.
Faith and I are high school sweethearts. You know, we met in church camp.
He was, you know, very funny, very caring, very loving.
The young couple would attend Liberty University, where Brady walked on to the football team. His time playing for the Flames would leave a lasting impression.
What it's like to be a part of a team, to know that your first reaction and your first instinct in a situation is to put the team first. That's a principle that few people in life ever learn.
And a principle that would guide his next big decision.
I had kind of thought, okay, he'll do something along in the business realm, like in that world, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, he drops this, I want to go be an infantry officer in the Army.
Nobody can look at somebody in the military and really question their purpose.
I realized his reasons behind doing it, and we just had a peace about it.
I left for basic training, and then we got married right after that.
Shortly thereafter, Brady received his orders. He was deploying to Afghanistan.
I think those are the moments in life where you know you're doing what God's purposed you to do at that time in your life, when there's that sort of pressure and that type of situation, and you and your wife feel absolutely at peace. Our day-to-day was centered around patrolling. I had to have a really heavy dose of self-awareness about where I was, my ability to lead and contribute. You know, because I was a platoon leader. There I was. I mean, they give me, you know, 25 men, and we're there in, you know, a part of Afghanistan that's not very friendly. We eventually got, you know, moved down to assist another platoon that was in a pretty good fight, and that's where things really kind of took off. It wasn't long before we were in an ambush. They attacked us from several different positions with, you know, small arms fire and RPG fire, and one of those RPGs, you know, struck my vehicle and, you know, entered the troop compartment, hit my headrest.
The impact left a fellow soldier with life-threatening injuries, while Brady was hit by shrapnel and suffered a concussion. After getting his friend to a medic, Brady continued to fight.
We pursued the enemy a little bit further before we knew it was time time to get back. I think once we got back and we really did an assessment, you know, between the concussion and the location of the shrapnel being close to my spine, you know, put me in a kind of a bad spot.
Brady would call his wife and let her know he was wounded, but uncertainty still surrounded his injury.
The days following was when the concussion symptoms really kind of turned on me a little bit, and then, you know, with the infection taking place on my spine.
He was flown to Germany for recovery, leaving Faith searching for answers.
My faith grew a lot that first deployment because praying for him and being in the Word was really the absolute only thing I could do for him.
Brady would recover from his injuries and eventually redeploy, but with his first child on the way, he soon realized that it was time to leave the Army.
Getting out was no easy decision. I kind of noticed, especially after my second deployment, that I was struggling, you know, on a lot of different levels.
He was now back home, but while outwardly Brady had recovered from his injuries, a much deeper wound was taking hold.
PTSD wasn't on our radar, or at least it wasn't on mine, because I was just, you know, I didn't think it was going to happen to us, to be honest. I was very naive and just was just thankful he was alive.
I started downward spiral the first few months. The first thing that you do when you understand that you're out of the Army or you're out of the service is that you're alone. And that can become very comforting. Isolation can become comforting, but it is destructive.
It was a very defeating and helpless time watching him and watching the effects of PTSD just, you know, destroy the man that he was, break it down.
I hit rock bottom, and once I was there, I had a decision to make. I can either turn it around or I can lose everything.
At the moment when I saw him at rock bottom, like, I knew without a question something has to change. Like, he can't keep going like this. Our family's not going to make it.
It was then that Brady would take the first steps of his long journey to recovery.
When you have combat trauma and you've seen things that, you know, have impacted you, it can change who you believe yourself to be. And addressing that soul wound is the beginning step.
Along with a strong support system, Brady found help through Reboot Combat Recovery, a faith-based program that addresses the spiritual wounds of war. For Brady, it was a breakthrough in the fight against PTSD.
Well, it's interesting that you share that. I appreciate you sharing it. We're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to have loved and then to have lost.
Staying involved with Reboot is important to Brady. He now serves as a local group leader, assisting others in their healing.
Not only is it empowering for me to be able to kind of show them that path, but what it does for me is it gives relevance to my journey and the experience that we've had. All right, ready?
All right,
let's go.
Brady is winning the battle against PTSD.
It's pretty chilly, huh?
And while the struggle never fully ends, one thing is certain: he will continue to fight.
John 10:10 tells you that the enemy seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. I see that played out in my life, but I also see an unquestionable hand. Oh, here comes the bus. Of redemption and movement in my life. Have a good day, okay? Where God has used His word and people He's put in my life to say that's not going to happen to you.
Just a powerful story. Our thanks to Jonah Jabor for producing that piece. All right, we turn now to Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Rhett, your name in the top athletic performances of the week here at Liberty. Let's begin with Warm. We've got some newcomers to the list this week. Yeah. Start us off with Warm.
Well, Shelby Bradford, this young lady from Romeo, Michigan. She just won. Yeah, that's right. It's, you know, kind of a neat little town.
Okay.
They have a great peach festival every Labor Day.
You're a peach, Rhett. You are a peach.
I could go up there, you know, a little peach jam, marmalade, maybe even a couple of shakes. You know, that would be down for the. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But she was tournament MVP at the ACHA Division I National Tournament, in which they won the national championship. She had a big power play goal in the second period of that final game, and just a freshman that all season long you can tell she's got something special about her game, and she is going to be just I think, an impact player for the next 3 to 4 years.
I don't know if the fruit theme will continue, but we'll move on now from warm to hot.
Derek Escher, lacrosse team for the men. This guy, what a week he had. He's a scorer and an assister. He's kind of that, you know, he's got a couple of tools in the shed offensively. There with that magic wand he likes to whip around. He's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Yeah, nice little play. Did he say Lancaster?
Lancaster?
I say Lancaster.
Lancaster?
Yeah.
We'll sort that out later.
Yeah, no, it's just like those Alpha-Gettys, remember? That's going back. But anyways, 3 goals, 2 assists versus Arizona State University, 3 goals versus NC State, so 6 goals in 2 games, and a couple of beautiful assists where he was just dishing and looking the other direction. I think that what I liked most about him is in that ASU game, he got walked on one play. Like, this guy came in and just threw out all the shakes in the book and just walked right around him, and then later on, he did the exact same thing to another guy. So, you know, it shows a little bit of grit and character.
Sure, absolutely. All right, finally, in Fuego, your pick for in Fuego this week is who?
Alicia Finnegan. And, you know, a lot of times you talk about the performance in the water, but this time it's kind of in the water and both in the school book, because she's just had an amazing year, Elite 90, and that goes to the student who has the top GPA at the 2018 NCAA D1 Swimming and Diving Championship. So she has had a 4.0 just outright. Which, you know, like, you and I were both student athletes.
If we added our GPAs together, we wouldn't get to 4.0.
That's probably likely. But, you know, just the amount of work and effort and dedication, discipline, more D words coming out here, that just can, it's just so difficult to stay in both your sport at a high level and in your studies at a high level, and she did that amazingly well.
Congrats to Alicia. Well-deserved honor. She's in Fuego this week. Great job. Brett, well, hey, still to come with brackets busting around the country during the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. You know your bracket's busted. We'll update you on where things stand here at Game On. This emotional story for some when we return.
You might have heard some things about Liberty University, like how we're just a little Christian school in the middle of nowhere. And there's nothing to do here. I mean, come on. You know us. Boring.
Boring?
Yeah. They say we don't work as hard, think as hard, try as hard.
I object.
The truth is, well, we might surprise you.
Hey there, welcome back to the show. You know, this time of year, almost everyone is involved in some form of NCAA tournament bracket contest, and it's no different here at Game On.
No, everyone is involved, but we're going to focus on the on-air personalities because it's all about us. Here now are the standings through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. You take a look, well, I mean, I don't mean to draw a lot of attention to myself, but I'm in first place right now, followed by Bobby, and there's Rhett.
It's been a failure this season.
It's been a tough go of it. Obviously, Virginia, a popular pick to win it all. That didn't work out so well, historic fashion. And then, Rhett, you went with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I just was thinking the Bearcats, you know, they're kind of a sleeper in their region, and I thought maybe they'd be able to come in and make some noise, but that did not happen.
Maybe not. Well, we'll keep an eye on this. So far, so good for old Team Warner. Hashtag Team Warner. Social media. Do it. Speaking of social media, at GameOnLU, follow us there. Facebook, Twitter, the whole deal.
And our website as well, GameOnLU.com.
For Rhett McGibbon, I'm Matt Warner. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you right back here next time at Game On.